What's up, everyone? Karue here from my Tennis HQ. Hope you guys are doing great. As you guys know, I've been here at the US Open bubble since last Monday. Yeah, I've been here for a while. I mean, you just kind of lose track of the days now. I've been here with Naomi. She's obviously doing great and determined. Just won her match today, getting to the semifinals. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. But meanwhile, between her matches and practices, I've been watching a lot of tennis. Obviously, lucky to be here and be able to actually watch tennis with no fans, which is pretty weird. But at the same time, it's just really nice because it's all about tennis. There's not a lot of the spectacle that comes with the tournament. It's just players are here to play. That's it. Everyone's here, obviously, to make a living. No one's worked for a long time. So it's actually kind of nice. So I've been able to get out there and watch a lot. And I just got back from watching Novak versus Struff. And I thought I would just talk a little bit about his game. We've been doing some game analysis, and I think Novak obviously is the favorite to win just Cincinnati and the US Open. Hasn't lost a match yet this year. So I kind of want to give my take on what I've seen so far from him compared to other players, I guess. And it's not going to be anything that you guys haven't heard yet, I guess, from his game. But I want to give a little bit of my perspective. I watched with a couple of friends today, just sat there and paid attention to everything he's doing, and it's just so impressive. So let's just jump right to it. So let's start with his ground strokes. Obviously, we know him as, you know, an incredible baseliner. He can handle pretty much anything you throw at him. And just watching him in person, it is just so incredible how composed he is on every single shot. I think he's perfected body control. He has so much body control on every single shot. Like, he's always not only loaded properly, but the weight transfer towards the shot is timed perfectly. So he gets so much power with, like, almost like it doesn't seem like he's trying that hard. Where you watch someone like Thiem or some of the younger guys who are like really focused on racket speed, hitting the ball harder. It seems like they're wasting a lot more energy. Novak is just perfectly shoulder turns, great with his feet into setting up, and then he just lets it go, just weight transfer. So obviously he has so much confidence. The ball comes off his racket just right. That's the best way to describe it. It's just right. It's just the way it should be. And again, without a lot of effort, he has so much control of his body, not only when he's in control of the point, but when he is having to run, which is obviously known for where he's so good defensively, but it's because he has so much control of his body, how he is stretching to certain shots, how he's able to recover from on the run balls and get back to the center of the court. So it's actually really incredible to watch. Like, it's hard to see that when you're watching on TV, because everyone seems like they're hitting really big and all that stuff. When you watch tennis live, it is a bit slower. Besides the serve, I think the serve is still looks really big. But when you watch him live, it's not necessarily he's hitting the ball bigger than all these guys, but he's just placing it better. He almost reads the game, so it's almost like he's a step ahead of everyone. He knows where people are gonna hit almost. So it's like it's hard to comprehend, actually being that good. But it is really incredible. You can say whatever negative things about him off the court. I know he has a lot of haters, but man, he has perfected his ground strokes to such an extent. Like, we look at him, 10 years ago, he had like hitches on the forehand, hitches on the serve, everything, and now it's like, I mean, if you're teaching like a little kid how to play tennis, like, look at him. Like, just look at him. He's doing everything the way you should be doing. Like, the take back is great. The follow throughs are great. The decision making is fantastic. Like, he's always picking the right ball. If anything, like the only times he doesn't is when he kind of gets bored. So it's just really hard to compete with him from the baseline. Obviously, some of the guys that we know give him a little bit of trouble are actually not the guys that are too offensive, but the guys who bore him a little bit. Medvedev, Gil Simon. He has Bautista good tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes, because this courts are playing really well for Bautista as well, Bautista's game. So you just don't know what you're gonna get. But if you are too offensive, like Struff today, he just had no chance. He was just going way too hard, and Novak loves playing with the target, so there was no... He wasn't going to win that match unless he was so on, and it's really hard to be 100% on the entire time against Novak. He's going to wear you out. He makes you play every ball. And so it was just, I mean, after he kind of warmed up for the first couple games, he didn't play really well. He was just like, you know, he was playing a different sport almost. So from the baseline, again, this is nothing that you guys haven't heard of. It's Novak. We know how good he is from the baseline, but watching him live, it really is eye-opening. That I think, again, a lot of people are, you know, focusing on power and like accelerating the ball like crazy and all that. He's just, it's a combination of everything. The turn, the load, the weight transfer, the acceleration through the shot, making sure he's using the pace of the ball to send it back to the other side. So it's just like it's so much more effortless. And again, obviously, he reads the game so well, and he's able to anticipate a lot of the shots. But he just seems like he's so much more in control of not only his body but of the game, like you know, when he's playing, than any other person I've seen play. All right, so let's talk about the rest of Novak's game. On the serve, obviously we don't, you know, he's not known as the biggest server in the world, but he's obviously a very effective server. He hits the spots really well. He's hitting the spots really well, which is a problem for everyone. One thing that I find it very, very curious, and I actually read an article about it. I'm going to try to find it and link it below. His second serve it's almost like a first serve. So what he does most of the time, he's hitting his serve body or wide on the deuce side, and body or tee on the ad side, just like not kicking it in, but just like going at it. It's like they're averaging close to 100 miles per hour, probably hitting over 100 miles per hour all the time, and he's not missing it. So he's pretty much playing with like a first serve and a 1.5 serve. It's kind of bonkers. Like he uses the kick almost as a variation, where most players are hitting the kicks most of the time, and they'll throw a wide or a T1, you know, on the deuce and that side as a variation. He's doing the opposite, which is really crazy, and almost like you don't really see it. And I don't think many people are talking about it as much. Obviously, on tighter situations, he is still throwing the kick, but as he's like comfortable, gets more and more comfortable during the match, he's just doing that all the time. And you might think like, oh, he's serving to the forehand, it shouldn't be that effective. He's winning a lot of those points because he's, one, hitting it big, and two, it's not like everyone has a great forehand return. Some people have good forehands, but forehand return is a different ball game. Returning is a total different thing. So he's doing that a lot. I'm gonna try to. I filmed a lot of videos of his match today. I'm gonna try to see if I can find like the second serves. But I mean, he's doing that all the time. Maybe go and watch a replay of his match today against Struff. You see, he's hitting his second serve not as a kick anymore. He's just going at it, even though he doesn't have like he's not averaging 130 on his serve. He's just not really playing with like a slow serve ever. So he's always dominating the baseline. He's doing that over and over and over. Like, you can't really get away from the pattern. And obviously, because he is so good from the baseline, people press. He's forcing them into mistakes. It's really problematic. So when we move to his game style, right? Like, we know he's a baseliner. We know he kind of does everything really well. But what he does is, if you're attacking him, he's obviously ridiculously good at neutralizing the ball, sending the ball back deep, changing directions, recovering. But if you leave it short, he's also attacking you. So he makes the court really small for players, like, because you step on the line to serve, he has a good return. So you're pressing a little bit more, you're going for a little bit extra, and if you're not on, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna give him. So he's not. It's not like you are making mistakes. That his opponents are making mistakes because it's just enforced errors. They're like not good, or they're not playing well. That they're really in their heads. He is really in their heads. Like, I'm gonna force you into making those mistakes. So that's what he does to every player. It's not necessarily that he's just like always hitting the baseline with his ground strokes. He does leave the ball short a little bit, but you know, if you like step into that shorter ball and just rip at him and maybe try to come in, he's gonna pass you, or he's gonna hit right at your feet on the baseline if you go for too much and you don't hit a great spot. So he's always putting this down on his opponent's mind, that ends up making them like either press and miss, or just, you know, go for shots they're not used to going, because they're like, what else am I going to do? Am I going to out-rally Novak? Probably not. So it is really difficult to play Novak Djokovic right now. Well, obviously we can talk about his returns. I think, I mean, it is unmatched in tennis. Like, I mean, there's like maybe a few guys who have returned, you know, Agassi, Murray. There's a few guys who have Malbania who return really well, but Novak is on his own. I think he's on his own level. So, you know, it is really complicated to find a solution. I really don't know who can take him out here. Again, I mentioned before, he does struggle sometimes with guys like Medvedev, guys who keep the pace a little slower, keep the match a little slower. If there's one thing that Novak doesn't do as well, is like creating the pace. Like, you know, if you leave the ball kind of short, let's say to Team, he's just going to crush the forehand. Same with Fed or Rafa. They do a better job with those shots. But besides that, like if you're just kind of trying to rally with him, if you give him pace, if you give him angles, it's really complicated. Most people that give him trouble are the ones that play only down the middle until he misses, but then the match becomes really physical, and who has better fitness than Novak? You know what I mean? You have to outlast him on rallies that are long, super long, and he kind of gets bored when people play like that, and you see he can make those mistakes. But besides that, he just he can pretty much outdo whatever his opponent is doing. Like, you're serving really big, he will adjust, he'll make more returns, you're gonna have to play. He obviously serves well, he's good at the net. So it's a really complicated player, and in my view, like from what I watched so far, obviously there's great players out here. I don't know what the hell is happening with the results. You know, people, you know, all this seeds losing early. So I'm sure you guys read it by now that the conditions here at the US Open are really quick this year. The court, you know, there was slow bouncy, ball is skidding, it's medium to fast. It's not like the fastest, but it's definitely not like a high bouncing court, so the ball is staying low. And that for Novak, it's fantastic. Like, I mean, he gets a little bit more juice on his serve. His ground strokes get a little more pop, especially because he hits the ball so deep, and that ball is like hitting the ground and staying low. It's not really like gripping and going up. So it's just really, you know, again, with the results that we've seen this week on the first week, like a lot of people struggle with the fast courts, and, you know, Novak doesn't. So, you know, I find it really hard to believe that anyone is going to be able to take him out. Maybe we'll see tomorrow or today, by the time this is uploaded, Bautista Agut maybe will give him a little bit of trouble. But overall, even with a sore neck, he's just outplaying everyone. And I saw him on the practice court. He was having fun. He was having a good time. So he's probably in good spirits. So I don't know. I mean, not having the fans might actually help him too, because he might not get some of the hatred, or I guess, like, you know, a lot of times when he plays, the crowd wants the underdog or Rafa or Roger, whoever, to win. So he becomes like the guy, you know, who's not getting any support. This time is just about tennis, and when it's just about tennis, Novak is going to be really hard to beat. So if I had to put money on it, I don't think I would put money on anyone else. So really, it's gonna be tough to beat Novak. And I hope you guys enjoyed this quick analysis. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but you know, so far from what I've seen, he's been the most impressive. And if you guys like this sort of video, let us know in the comments below. We're trying to put out more content like this. I think you guys enjoy certain player analysis. And visit mytennishq.com. Follow us on social media at mytennishq on Instagram and at mytennishq_ on Twitter. And let's see what happens at the US Open. Let's keep supporting Naomi if you guys are her fans, because we want her to take titles here. And I'll see you guys on the next one.